Hi, it's Mel from Movement and You Fitness Coaching. This episode, we're going to look at some satay tofu with vegetables. I've tried to keep the recipe simple. In doing so, I've used a paste that you can buy in the supermarket, but I have got the option, if you want to contact me on myfitnesscoaching.com.au, you can go into there, send me a message, and I'll give you a spice mix because the paste is not vegan or vegetarian. There's shrimp in it, but other than that, it's an excellent paste. I'm going to show you the paste. I'm not recommending the brand or anything, but this is one that I really like. You can get it in some Woolworths supermarkets, but mostly you need to go to your Asian grocery store. So it's Jimmy's. Jimmy's satay is what I use. So we'll put that away now. Come over here, have a look. I've gotten started. I've got my satay paste. I've got my ginger and garlic in the pot. I'm sweating that off to extract the flavour. So no added oil, because when they make these paste in the supermarket, and even when I make them at home, you need to use a fair bit of oil in them in order to preserve them. So no need to add any oil. As soon as that starts to heat a little more, I'll mix them together and all the oils will keep that going. My sweet potatoes, they're almost half cooked. I'm checking them using a knife. Yep, that is ready for the rest of my veg to go in. So I put in my mushrooms first, sprinkle those around. I put in my green beans, sprinkle those around. And I sprinkle the capsicums on top. And I let all of that cook together now. That'll take another 5 minutes or so. This is starting to happen. And I just keep sweating that off now. See the oil that's slowly coming out of that paste? That's why you keep the heat low to medium. Amazing aromas are coming out, and that's what we want to extract the flavour of the paste and the herbs in it, as well as the garlic and ginger. So you just flatten it out so it's got good surface contact with the bottom of that pot. I'm going to let that sit there. I'm going to talk to you about macadamia nut paste. Macadamia nut paste, you'll see it's in the recipe instead of peanut butter. Peanut butter's fine if you use the natural one, no added sugar. But what they don't have in peanuts, macadamia nuts have 81% monounsaturated fats. Why is that so important? Monounsaturated fats are part of that good fat system that helps us remove the LDLs from our blood lipids. So the LDLs are the naughty blood lipids that make our cholesterol go up and contribute to causing strokes and heart attacks. So I've used macadamia nut paste for that reason, to get some extra nutrients in. I've also used it because I live near Madawi, a local macadamia nut farm, and I like supporting their products. I've listed a reference on the recipe. It's Nuts for Life. You can get a lot more information about macadamia nuts and all the other things. They've got some amazing high quantities compared to other nuts of things like manganese and thiamine. So go have a look at that if you're interested. But macadamia nuts are all the go, an excellent nut to use. So I'm using it to thicken this instead of peanut butter. Sounds like this mix might be just about ready. Have a look at that. Have a look in there. That is good to go. Flavour extracted. Bingo. I'm now going to add my coconut. So I've got shredded coconut. You can use desiccated. You can use fresh coconut if you want to go to that trouble. But these recipes are all about getting you to cook foods at home that save you time. The reason that you stop cooking because you're time poor. So that's shredded coconut gone in. Once that's nice and mixed, we get the flavour out of that coconut by toasting it a bit in the pan. Oh, this is starting to smell amazing. So what you're looking for, I'm starting to smell the coconut. I'm keeping that up fairly high because I'm about to deglaze that pan with water. So we got our 2 glasses of water. Have a look at that. We bring that to the boil and then that pan will be completely deglazed. So when we deglaze a pan, we want to get everything off the bottom because all those beautifully stuck items on the bottom of the pan have the highest flavour. So we just let that come to the boil while we do that. Now, I'm going to talk to you about tofu. Come on over here while we wait for that to deglaze. Tofu. Really important that you get fussy and read your packets for the tofu. You really need to look for organic tofu, get it in your fruit and veg stores. This one comes from the supermarket because that's all I had. As you'll notice, I'm in a different kitchen. I'm on holidays. You'll see some of my posts for hiking and climbing and fishing around this area in Jindabyne that I'm in, climbing Mount Kosciuszko. Back to the tofu though. This tofu actually has a preservative in to set the tofu quickly, a firming agent they call it. In the health food stores or your fruit and veg stores, you're going to get 100% natural tofu, which we're looking to get the most out of our nutrition. So if you can, get to a health food store or get to your fruit and veg store to buy your tofu. But you want to make sure it's firm. See how I can pick that up? Anything less than firm, so silken firm or soft, it's going to break up in the sauce. So stick to nice firm tofu. Let's go and check those pots again. So not quite to the boil, but getting there. I'm going to drain those veggies now because they're ready. Into my strainer they go. And what I'll do with those veggies once they're done dripping, I nicely arrange them in my bowl. But while that's happening, let's have a look at chopping up the seaweed ready for garnish. The tofu is ready to go in. Have a look at that. That's been simmering away. Probably took about 3 minutes. If you're cooking on gas, it's going to take you a little bit longer. So I'm going to add my tofu gently to that so I don't get burnt. Totally submerge it in there. And then I just let that simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. Now, tofu doesn't need to cook. You could eat that tofu just like that. What the simmering in that sauce is going to do is infuse the tofu with flavour. So tofu has amazing health properties for us, but we all know it's very bland. So this is a way to really improve the flavour in your tofu and have a nice tasty meal with all the health benefits. So I'm going to let that simmer there now for about 15 or 20 minutes. While that's happening, I want to show you how to cut your seaweed. So these are your nori sheets. You can get these in any supermarket in the Asian section. These are the sheets you use to make sushi, and basically that's what they sell them for. But what we can use them for, because they're so high nutritional value, seaweed should really be included in all of our diets, and we need to think of it as a super green. So just like spinach or cabbage, any leafy green vegetable, seaweed is another version of a leafy green vegetable. And the minute you can get your head around that, the easier it will be for you to eat. The other component about seaweed is it adds amazing flavour to your food. So I use it to actually lift the flavour in things where I really want some nice contrasting vegetable flavours. So easy preparation. I folded it in half, cut it down the middle and use scissors. Do not try and cut your seaweed with a knife. You'll cut your finger off more than anything, even if you have a really sharp knife. Then leaving it in that shape, because we want nice long strips. Have a look, we just make these nice little straws, and when we sprinkle it in the bowl, it looks amazing, and it actually is nicer to eat. It has a nicer mouth feel. So very simple, and I'll show you how we use it to garnish when we present the meal. Now, with this satay, I haven't put any fresh herbs in, but another nice way to spice it up a little bit more, you could put chopped coriander, fresh Thai basil leaves in. You could slice some kaffir lime leaves really thinly, just like the sushi paper I'm using, and just sprinkle it through at the end, not in the cooking phase. All of those herbs have much greater flavour when you just sprinkle them in at the end. So everything's ready to go. I've got my vegetables in the bowl, nicely presented and placed, so it looks good. Now, you may have noticed, but where's the rice? Well, technically speaking, you really don't need to add rice to this dish because you've got your carbohydrates in your sweet potato. So sweet potato is a great nutritional vegetable with macro and micronutrients, as well as a carbohydrate. But depending on what you've eaten for the day, you may want to add some rice. So that's entirely up to you. But for me, I've had enough carbohydrates for the day, so this will do me. Come on over here. We're going to thicken up the satay. So that's been on there for 20 minutes, simmering. So nice and low. You can see the tofu is still all in one piece because I haven't stirred it. I've just kept it simmering, now making sure I scrape the bottom to get any nice flavour off. And what I'm going to do is add my macadamia nut paste straight into that hot sauce there. So my jar's almost empty. That's going in there. Get the excess off by putting it in the hot water there. And the beauty about using any sort of nut spread, what sort of happens is the heat has a reaction with it the longer it's in the heat, and it makes it soft at the beginning, but over time, being a couple of minutes of sitting in the liquid, it actually starts to make it thicken up more. So if you wanted to, you could even pick your chunks of tofu out so you don't break it up when you're adding the paste. So that's actually quite a good option if you want to keep nice big chunks. But you can see that sauce is slowly thickening the longer it's in there. And as I've said in the recipe, which is on the website, myfitnesscoaching.com.au, it will thicken the longer it's in there, and it's up to you as to how you thicken yours, what consistency you like. I'm just making sure that's all mixed in properly, no chunks. All right, so now we just nicely arrange it into the bowl, making sure we get a nice amount of sauce, nice amount of tofu. So I'm just going to make one up so we can have a look, placing that sauce over there. So all the veggies have a great flavour. Some sesame seeds for garnish, sprinkled over the top, as many as you would like. But once again, sesame seeds are great nutritional value as well. So then we just sprinkle the seaweed around the side, like so. Making sure we use half of it, because it was 1 sheet per person. These bowls, once again, they're not really that big. I'd use a wider bowl at home if I was serving it, so I could fit everything in nicely. But that is satay tofu in a nutshell, and it won't take you very long to cook that, and it's a great vegetable protein option to have a couple of meat-free days in your week. Bon appetit. Hope you enjoy it. Hey, why not leave a comment below if you like it? And if you do like the recipes I'm doing, why not subscribe so you don't miss out? Take care. See you next time. Keep fueling your body, not your emotions.